Welcome to the Explainer. Okay, today we're shifting gears. We're moving away from that simple back-of-the-napkin math and diving headfirst into real preventative engineering. Because we need to talk about the silent killer of MPPT charge controllers. Seriously, it's a mistake that can completely destroy expensive equipment in the blink of an eye, and it catches even the most seasoned off-grid builders entirely off guard.
So let's dive right into this mystery. If I were to ask you right now, hey, what actually kills MPPT controllers the fastest? You'd probably assume the answer is too much current, right? Like pushing way too many amps through the system from some massive array of solar panels. But honestly, the reality is far more surprising, and it actually has absolutely nothing to do with current.
The real culprit, too much voltage, pure and simple. And you know what the absolute scariest part about this whole thing is? This lethal overvoltage event usually happens exactly when you'd least expect it, on freezing cold mornings, literally before your system even begins its charging cycle. Let's break down exactly how this happens. Which brings us to Section 1, the overvoltage mistake, understanding the limits. Because to truly protect our gear, we've got to understand two very specific numbers printed right there on your solar panel's data sheet. So the first absolutely crucial term you'll see is Voc, or open circuit voltage. This is simply the voltage measured when the panel is completely disconnected and there is zero current flowing through the circuit. You can kind of think of this Voc number as the absolute maximum voltage pressure your panel can produce all on its own. It is without a doubt the single most critical metric for your controller's survival. But right next to VOC on that data sheet, you're going to see Vmp, which stands for voltage at maximum power. Now, this is the normal operating voltage when power is actually being delivered and flowing to your battery. And here is where people mess up. A major, super expensive mistake is using this Vmp value instead of VOC when sizing their arrays. If you use the Vmp number to match your controller, you're unknowingly creating a really dangerous design that is guaranteed to eventually exceed the controller's rating. Moving on to Section 2, the series wiring trap, how voltages stack up. Because to understand exactly how these controllers get completely overwhelmed, we really need to look closely at how we physically connect our panels together. The way you wire them dictates the danger. Take a look here. On the left side, we've got series wiring, where the voltages of the panels add together, but the current stays constant. Then on the right, parallel wiring, where the currents add together, but the voltage remains pretty much the same. Because series wiring literally multiplies your voltage, it essentially paints a giant target right on your MPPT controller's greatest vulnerability. Let's look at a super common scenario. Step 1, you check your panel's VOC. Let's say it's 49.5 volts. Step 2, you connect 3 of those bad boys in series. Step 3, you multiply 49.5 by 3, which gives you a total VOC of 148.5 volts. Now, most DIY guides and online tutorials, they just stop right here. They teach this exact basic calculation, which totally leads you to believe that 148.5 volts is perfectly safe to hook up to your standard 150-volt MPPT controller. I mean, the math checks out, right?
Well, actually, wrong. This on-paper safety is a massive, dangerous illusion. You see, that Voc number stamped on the back of your panel, it's measured under standard test conditions in a highly controlled laboratory. And those standard conditions assume a perfectly warm, cozy solar cell temperature of exactly 25 degrees Celsius.
Okay, Section 3, the cold weather threat, the hidden variable. As we all know, Mother Nature rarely cooperates with pristine laboratory conditions. And this is the hidden variable that quietly destroys so many meticulously planned off-grid setups. Check out this relationship here. There is a strict, inverse relationship between temperature and voltage. When the weather gets blazing hot, the VOC actually goes down. But when the temperature drops in cold weather, that open circuit voltage shoots up. This means that perfectly engineered 148.5 volt array from our example won't actually stay at 148.5 volts. On a freezing winter day, that voltage is going to spike, easily blowing right past your controller's 150 volt limit.
Which brings us to Section 4, sunrise controller destruction, the morning strike. This sudden weather-driven increase in voltage leads us directly to the precise, exact moment your expensive equipment is most at risk.
You know, the absolute biggest misconception in solar design is the idea that if the battery isn't actively charging and no current is flowing, there's absolutely no danger to the system. But here's the kicker.
Overvoltage destruction requires zero current. None. Damage actually occurs at sunrise, long before any actual charging cycle even begins.
Think about it. The exact moment those first tiny rays of morning sunlight hit those freezing cold solar panels, that massive, spiked open-circuit voltage appears instantly. A sudden, violent voltage strike hits your sleeping controller, and it instantly blows out the internal components. We're talking the MOSFETs, the capacitors, the input protection circuits, and the internal DC to DC converters. Poof, all completely destroyed in a fraction of a second. And we need to be incredibly clear about the aftermath here, because the controller takes the full, unmitigated brunt of that cold weather voltage spike. This isn't some simple software glitch you can just reboot from, or, a blown fuse you can quickly swap out. Nope. The internal electronics are just completely fried. The warranty, likely voided. The controller is simply dead. Let's get into Section 5, Smart Engineering Margins, Designing for Survival. Look, to stop this from happening to you, we really have to move away from just matching the basic numbers on the box. We need to start thinking like real preventative engineers. We have to design for survival. I really want you to burn this concept into your memory right now. The maximum PV input voltage on your MPPT controller is an absolute rating. It is absolutely not an operational target. You have to treat the manufacturer's maximum voltage as a hard, unbreakable ceiling. Designing a system to run right up against that 150 volts or 200 volt limit just leaves you with zero safety margin for when the weather inevitably changes.
So here's exactly how you engineer for survival. Always check your panel datasheets for the true VOC. Understand that wiring panels in series directly increases your string voltage. You must mathematically account for those cold weather VOC spikes based on your specific local climate. And, most importantly, maintain a healthy, generous safety margin well below the controller's maximum limit. If you adopt these core principles, you are no longer building a system that just barely survives on paper in a 25-degree lab. You are building one that is guaranteed to thrive out there in the unpredictable real world.
Which brings us to the most important takeaway of this entire explainer. I want you to go grab your own panel datasheets today. Do the math, but do it with cold weather in mind, and ask yourself honestly, is your system truly engineered to survive the freezing cold, or is it literally just one chilly sunrise away from total failure?